Hey, E, we're live right now. We're live right now. You're recording. You're recording right now.
What do you mean we're live?
We're live right now.
If we were live, we'd have production value. We'd have like lights and like smoke machines.
It's on right now.
We're live?
Yes, you idiot. We're recording.
Oh,
In a world where production was vastly underused, there was one man.
Hey, narration guy.
He made a lot of cool things.
You're starting the date's
Audio,
wrong.
visuals.
It doesn't make sense.
What?
No, yes, we will. Look,
Yeah,
you'll have to start over.
We'll cover that later.
Oh my God, this is a nightmare.
Just let me say this.
Just start the new episode.
Fine.
Here we go.
All right, so before we dive into the full remix, I'm going to play a little bit of the original song along with the original acapella and instrumentals that were finally sent to me. So here is Here From Afar from Adam Yaz. So then here was the acapella.
Moonlight from the moonlight from the swan.
All the harmonies and some of the reverb and stuff is on the acapella. And then I will play the instrumental. Kind of bounce around that too. And I kind of bounce around this too. It's the remix version of it that I did. And we'll hop into RipX now and hear what we can do in their newest update. So now we're in RipX. I have the version that encompasses all 3 different versions you can get, I believe. It's I have the RipX Deep Audio, Deep Create, and Deep Remix. Essentially, one allows you just to separate the stems. Another one allows you to kind of manipulate the actual audio as though it's MIDI, and I kind of forget what the other one does. I'll have to look at that in a second here. But it's pretty straightforward. We're going to drag in our audio file and kind of get started. Okay, so now we have our song fully ripped. So with RipX, they just call it rips, like instead of like stems and all that stuff. So we have our rip fully split. So let's take a listen. So we can solo different things. Let's go to our drums. Okay. I do like that they updated this a little bit On the bottom, you weren't able to see your drums as clearly, which was very frustrating at first. So that's a kick drum. Did they separate the snare too? Oh, they did. Nice. Okay, what's under our percussion? Hi-hats. Hit this together. Okay. Okay, so it's at this point where things got really frustrating really fast. And although the functionality of this app remains the same overall, they've made a lot of dumb decisions, and I can't sugarcoat it. I can't. You're able to adjust volume and panning and adjust audio as though it's MIDI to a degree where you're able to manipulate it. And you're able to change the scale of the song. You're able to clean it up a little bit. But there's so many functions that made this thing so streamlined before they just got rid of, or I couldn't find them at all. There's this whole window where you're supposed to be able to clean it like this in the spectral view. It just looks so clunky compared to other things that are out there like Adobe Audition and Isotope RX, where it's just not straightforward. You're in it. And the examples they pick are very cherry picked for what you see online. And I tried it out on videos in my previous videos, and it has not improved where it's gotten so much easier to use. So if you're brand new to using DAWs and you want to get into editing audio and creating remixes, this is not an easy one to pick up. And this is what someone who's been doing this for years. There's a stupid hover function that they have where you hover over one of these little tabs on the right side and it starts moving these sliders. I didn't want to move the sliders, and it started moving sliders around. It started adjusting the format and all kinds of other stuff, and it was hard to tell what I did and how to undo it, and there was no option to toggle it on and off. So it just became just a train wreck. Honestly, I couldn't find basic functions like creating harmonies, which was a big part of what I was able to do early on. So easy. I was able to remix an entire R&B song from a stereo track just with the basic functions that were in there. And now I couldn't find something to be able to create a harmony. It used to be at a tab at the top, and I assumed it was moved to the side. I couldn't find it either way. There is something labeled as harmony under the Harmony Plus combo, but that doesn't give you the same functions that you could previously. As you saw there, I was writing automation I didn't even try to. Like, it became ridiculous. Adjusting drums, like other DAWs allow you to time stretch and pitch bend and stuff with drum loops to be able to implement it in your song, or they prompt you early on like, hey, you're bringing something in that's the different tempo. Do you want to adjust it? This doesn't have that function at all. If it does, it's not clear. So I couldn't bring in some regular drum loops like I wanted to. I did not want to make this into like a bash the software kind of video, because that's not what I intended to do. I wanted to try out this new fun thing. And it just became such a headache. Like, it treats audio like MIDI, so there's cool functions that they completely missed the mark on. Like, they have this option for presets. So in my mind, if you're already splitting audio up into different pieces like drums and bass and voices and all that, then have presets that are relatable to it. Have a preset window under that rip script window that takes up so much space. Have your presets drop down from there. If I'm clicking on drums, have a whole set of presets that are related to drums, like dynamics, having compression and EQ and things that you would use mainly on drums. If you're selecting a guitar, have something related to guitars, whether you're dealing with like reverb and EQ and you're dealing with like stereo field and stuff. Have that as a function that pops up, not this stupid hover thing. It's such a waste of space, and there's so many more cool things you could have did with it. If I'm clicking map beats, in my mind, that's going to open something brand new to adjust tempo, pitch, time stretching, something like that. This is not the business, yo. Oh boy. Okay. Another thing. So, on top of being able to select a region, replace it with an instrument, there should be like a threshold slider. Kind of similar how there's a plugin in Pro Tools. I'm at a loss for it right now. But it's basically with drums. I know someone can answer this in the comments, but you adjust the threshold to tell it when to activate. That'd be a wonderful thing too, to be able to adjust the threshold and tell it, hey, kick in and replace this instrument. Oh god, all I want to do. Okay, I should be able to select the thing I want. Hey, replace it with the flute, and it replaces it with the flute. Okay. I think I'm gonna wrap this video up. So, the looks fantastic. The whole interface looks wonderful. Looks very sleek. Looks very clean. The functionality behind it needs work. And if I'm a brand new user who, just wants to dive in and start using things, this is a little intimidating. I can't, as a user who's used this before and used other similar software, this is hard to navigate. It should not be hard to navigate if you're aiming for new users and engineers who want to kind of tinker and add to their arsenal of tools to use, right? There's a lot of potential here that can be done with this new and improved, I'm air quoting as though you can see it, version of this. Man, to be able to swap out instruments that are built in would be wonderful. To be able to swap out instruments that you have on hand would be even better. Like, I was able to import drum loops again, but you're not having full control over it. Like, you can't adjust tempos and stuff like that. You can blend it to a degree. There's like an option to move the slider to blend it. You have to click a group or a selection and try to do it that way. It's just not user friendly, yo. You are able to implement VST3 plugins. I haven't fully tested that out just yet, but that's promising because that wasn't a function on earlier versions. But yeah, there's just a lot of room for this thing to be fixed, and it doesn't feel like they took the feedback from engineers and producers and stuff like this. They made it look pretty, but the functionality needs work. All right, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. I'm gonna use this thing to make stems for another one of Adam's songs, and I'll remix that in FL Studio. So I'll talk to y'all shortly. Be sure to like, subscribe to the new channel, TheProtoArt Audio, and I'll talk to y'all soon with more audio related stuff there. And I will still continue to post art and stuff here as well, so you'll get digital art, traditional art, airbrushing, wood carving, and burning, and all that good stuff. All right, y'all. Talk to you soon.